So hello everyone, my name is Ting. The lesson I did for methodology is called Introduction to 3D Model using SketchUp. The case study in the lesson is called the Australian First Post Office, and we create a model based on one pictures. So what is SketchUp? SketchUp is a 3D modeling software using in architecture design, heritage, and archaeology studies. And the version we use in this lesson is called SketchUp Pro 2020, especially for MacBook users. So for example, there are many researchers articles using the same methodologies. For example, in heritage and archaeology studies, they use 3D reconstruction for archaeology study and 3D modeling for heritage houses. So the next thing is SketchUp the only way to do 3D modeling? No, there are other methodologies, for example, photogrammetry. The reason why we use SketchUp is because sometimes some buildings we can't get access to, or some objects, and we only can find few pictures of them. That's why we choose SketchUp. The cool thing is SketchUp with great functionalities, a user-friendly interface design, and also create satisfaction in user experience by help users to create their 3D modeling more efficiently. So for example, one of the functionality is called drawing function, and for this pencil symbol, the users can just use the pencil to draw anything they want in SketchUp, and the only difference is they're drawing in the screen instead of a physical paper, but they're familiar with this process. There are also other software you can use to do 3D model like SketchUp. The left one is called Blender, the right one is called Maya. As we can see, it looks very complex, and it might be very hard to even start with and follow the tutorial we can find online. Budget is also an important thing we need to consider before we purchase any 3D model software. SketchUp is not free, but Maya and Blender is not the best software we use for this case study, like creating Australian First Post Office. It's just a simple building, and we can achieve by using SketchUp. Especially for beginners, you don't need to use SketchUp for the further development of your project, but SketchUp is a very good starting point getting you into 3D modeling. And SketchUp, when you finish with SketchUp, you can use other software more easily. The challenges in SketchUp is time consuming. Even if you can follow with the tutorial, however, it doesn't mean it can be really easy for you to create your project by yourself. It's still gonna take lots of time to do your own projects. Another challenges in SketchUp and also other 3D modeling software is you have to learn a little bit basic knowledge of 3D project and models, like special knowledges. You need to understand how it works in 3D model. So the aim in this lesson is not to expect users to create a complete version of the Australian First Post Office, but more likely give the users a general understanding and instruction of using SketchUp before they get into other 3D modeling software. So the tutorial in this lesson is pretty much will divide it into three tutorials. So they will provide a general introduction to 3D modeling SketchUp, and they will teach people how to import pictures from online and adjust it in SketchUp. So what's going on? It's gonna be most happening like your thoughts in your mind, but it's okay. Like we can always save ourselves by just watching the video a little bit carefully and try to remember to save your files. This is also a key and important thing in SketchUp. A very special and important component in this lesson is called hard tips. There are 5 hard tips. Basic are very useful advice I generate from the experience I learned using SketchUp, and also very key thing in this lesson. Don't cry too hard. Yes, it can happen when you do your 3D modeling. That's why you need to do the lesson, because it's very safe for you to do the lesson. You won't cry too hard, I promise. Okay, so the next thing is you need to practice and try again, and again until it works. Another thing is keep calm and click undo. Don't worry if you do something wrong. It's always good to try. If you actually did something wrong, always click undo and back to the previous page. 2 things we need to remember. The first thing is, unfortunately, there is no general solution for every potential problem you might face in the process of create 3D modeling. But there are further readings and tutorial provided at the end of the lessons. Hopefully it helps. Another thing is critical thinking. Don't fully rely on the picture we try to create a 3D model based on. We need to have our own thinking and make our own decision what to put in the 3D modeling. Yeah, this is very important. Be critical and be creative. The future for this lesson, I think there are many potential future for the lesson, especially I can create more tutorials for different components. For example, import textures. So I agree, and I think it's a very valuable lesson for methodology website. Thank you so much.